everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and for today's video I would like to talk to you about my reading goals for 2021. I say reading goals, the title says reading goals, but these are more like bookish goals, so they all have something to do with books, whether it be a bookish platform that I run or like legit reading goals or writing, etc. So it's all like books and company. So I have 11 goals that I came up with for this new year. This is a video that I love filming, I love watching, and it just makes me so excited for what is to come reading wise for this year. So let's get started. We will start with the most basic of all of the reading goals, in my opinion at least, and that is the number of books that I want to read for the year. So on my Goodreads, which I have linked down below if you're at all interested in checking that out, it says that my Goodreads goal for the year is 70 books, which is what I said last year as well, but there's kind of a range to it. I want to read anywhere between 70 and 140 books. Now, I know that that's a big gap. It's literally double, but let me explain. So, in 2018, I read 53 books. In 2019, I read 83 books. Last year, I read 111 books, which is the most I've ever read in a year, and that's just so exciting. And I don't, like, super care if I like surpass 100 for the year. That would be super cool, but if I don't, I'm not going to be disappointed in myself. But if I do read more than 100 books, I would really like to get to 143 so that I can say that I've read like almost 30 more every single year for the past however many years. I just think that that would be cool to say. With every year that has come, I've read more than I have the previous year, so who knows? I genuinely don't know what this year is going to look like, and I'm going to reevaluate this goal about halfway through the year, maybe even like 3 months into the year, because that's kind of when I changed it, I think last year, since I had read so much. So it just kind of depends on what this year looks like for me reading wise, and with some of my other goals, 140 books may not be possible, so we'll see. But I'm not one of those people who can make my Goodreads goal one book, because I know in the back of my mind that that's not what my goal actually is, and like seeing that on Goodreads doesn't make me any less stressed because I know what my real goal is. So I envy the people that can trick their minds into doing that, but I literally can't, and it does matter to me like how much I read in a year. Like, I don't know. I set a bar for myself. I don't set it for anyone else, and I don't know. But yeah, so that's goal number 1. And it's kind of vague, but I hope that makes sense to people. Maybe it doesn't, maybe I'm crazy. Either way, that's the first goal. The second goal on here is the one that is the most important to me, and that is to diversify my reading. So I mean this in a few different ways. I want to diversify what genres and age groups I'm reading from. So I want to read more middle grade, I want to read more adults, more new adults, I want to read more romance, I want to read more fantasy because I didn't really last year. Or maybe I did, I haven't really sat down to evaluate my reading for last year, to be honest with you. I want to read more science fiction, more thrillers and horror, because those are things that I really enjoy. And I kind of realized that last year, but didn't prioritize those things. But more importantly, and most importantly, I want to diversify who I'm reading from and who I'm reading about, what I'm reading about. So not genres, but the characters. I last year decided that I wanted to read from more people of color, and prioritize that, and I started to, but I didn't do nearly enough, and I'm genuinely very displeased with the lack of effort that I made, because it's so important, and I'm just genuinely very disappointed in myself because I know I could have done better, and I didn't prioritize that nearly as much as I should have. And that's something that I want to do this year. I also want to like diversify the stories that I'm reading in like who I'm reading about. I want to read more stories about people in the LGBTQIA+ community, or like racial minorities, and I also want to read more nonfiction and educate myself on these things, because again, I didn't do that last year, and I'm, like I said, super disappointed. And nobody has like pointed that out to me, but I'm very aware of it and I'm very uncomfortable with it. So I really, really want to do that. That is like my main goal for this year, and I would love if you guys would hold me accountable for that and give me recommendations for like books that you think that I would enjoy. I would love if you guys could recommend me books for that. Obviously, it's not your job to do that. I will go out and do research for it. But I would also love if you guys could help hold me accountable and remind me every single month. Like, that would just be super helpful. And I want to continually kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Evaluate. Goodness. I want to continually evaluate this throughout the year because it's so important. And I'm not happy with how little I know about people. With diversifying my reading, I also want to read more like self-published books and from indie authors and everything, because again, that's not something that I really prioritize. And so if you have recommendations for anything, I would seriously love and appreciate those so much. So in a similar vein, but not like as important, I want to read more manga and graphic novels. So kind of branching out of the typical things that I read. I want to read more graphic novels and manga, and by the end of the year, I want to have all of the manga and graphic novels on my shelves read. And I don't just mean like what's on there now, because as I'm talking to you right now, I only have 2 graphic novels that I need to read. I have plenty of manga that I need to read, but I only have 2 graphic novels, and I imagine that I'll get more throughout the year, and I'm super excited about that. But I for sure want to have my shelves for each respectively cleared out. And so that I'll start the new year with like essentially nothing on my shelves to read, and I can, you know, branch out. I found last year how much I genuinely enjoyed manga and graphic novels, and I'm so excited about that, and I want to prioritize reading them like every single month. I have so many like first volumes of manga on my shelves of series that I haven't started yet, and I would really like to start those series and see where I'm at and maybe do like a full manga recommendations video. I also want to read more from Junji Ito because I found out that I loved horror manga, and that's been super cool. So this one is one that I'm super excited about. And I just think it would be cool to have them completely read on my shelves. Oh, my dogs are going crazy. Goal number 4 is one that I made last year, but didn't really stick to or revisit once I said it in that video. And that is to read bigger books, tomes. So books that are like over 500 pages and kind of make me nervous and intimidated, which is why I set my goal at 70 books, and that's why I did it last year, but nothing came of that because I was like, I want to read 100 books this year. That's more important to me. I'm so annoying. But yeah, so I want to read, you'll see on my top books that I want to get to in 2021, but I want to read Priory of the Orange Tree. I want to finish off some of my Sarah J. Maas. I want to read House of Earth and Blood, which is a pretty big book. I want to read Rage of Dragons and continue on in that series. House in the Cerulean Sea, that's not even a big book. I'm just listing books that are on that list now. Well, whoops. I don't know, but you get the point. You get the idea. I want to read bigger books because I like the books that I read are super short, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Dope. But for me, I have huge books on my shelf, but I haven't like read them. And that bothers me a ton. And I also want to find like some new favorites this year, and I genuinely think that those have the potential to be favorites. And I just haven't read them because their size intimidates me, and I don't like that. So that is like something that I would, again, really appreciate if you could hold me accountable for all of these things. Reading bigger books this year, that's my goal. I would like to get to like 3 or something of them, like the big books, like Dune. I said that because it's right in front of me. I just realized it was there. The next one is not like a reading goal, but like I said, these are all bookish goals. I want to be more active on Bookstagram, and not only that, I want a theme this year. I want to create a theme, I want to stick to it, I want to post and have nice, aesthetically pleasing pictures on my Bookstagram. Because right now, it's kind of just a hodgepodge of like whatever I want it to be. like whenever I take a picture of a book or something or in front of my bookshelves, and that's fine, but I wish that it was a little bit more cohesive and nice to look at because so many of my friends are, and I'm like, oh, I want that, and then I sit there and think, oh, you could do that, just, you know, put a little effort in. And so that's something that I really want to prioritize because I love Bookstagram and I love looking at people's feeds, and I would just love to have my own. And it's not an out of reach goal, I just need to stop being lazy and do it. And then, like, kind of going along with that, I would also love to grow my Bookstagram because that's not something that I've ever really prioritized. But I think it would be cool to reach like 1,000 followers on there, maybe only 800. I don't know how lofty of a goal that is. I don't know how quickly I can like gain an audience on there. But I think it would be cool to like have a page that I can interact with you guys more frequently and on a more personal level because I DM so many people on there. And it's super fun and I get to interact with you guys on a more intimate and day-to-day level, which I absolutely love. So that is definitely like my top. Like I just want to make more friendships, which is another goal on here. I want to make more friends in the book community because the ones that I have already are amazing and I love them dearly. But I don't have very many, and I've like been a part of this community, maybe not as a creator the entire time, but for many, many years. And the fact that I like don't really have that many friends, like maybe I'm an unlikable person, which that's fine and I'll change that, but I feel like it's due to the lack of me like reaching out to people and interacting, and I could be so much better about that. And so that's definitely something that I really want to do is curate more friendships because the ones that, like I said, I already have are amazing and I just want more of them. There's not really a number to this, I just want to be more involved is really the goal here. For this channel, I want to post more frequently because I have been posting pretty regularly for the past couple of years and I have loved every second of it. But there were definitely like times where I posted once a month and I didn't like doing that. So I want to post more regularly and I want to be proud of the videos that I'm making. That's not to say that I hate every video that I've ever made, but there are only like a couple that I look back on and like I could potentially watch without cringing the whole time, or someone could show me my own video and I'd be like, okay, this is not terrible to watch. Like I feel like everybody feels weird about watching themselves in something. I don't know. I just want to make more videos that I'm proud of, take more time with editing and filming and planning out videos, etc. So that is also something that I really want to be more mindful of this year and prioritize. Then I have like a really ambitious goal and I don't know how feasible it is, but I would love to get to like 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Numbers are not everything, but it's also really nice to see something that you've put a lot of time and effort into grow. And so for me, in 2019, when that year ended, I was at like 400 subscribers or something, and I ended last year with 1,530, I think, and that is huge growth, and I am so happy and so thankful for all of the support that I got over the past years. Genuinely, thank you so much. But I would also love to see it grow even more. I just think that would be really cool. So I don't know how overly ambitious this goal is, but I think that if I follow through with the previous goal and I'm putting a lot more time and effort into my consistency and also the videos that I'm making, then this is definitely feasible. We'll see. I might be eating those words at the end of the year. This might sound too like super terrible, but like I said, numbers aren't everything. It's just nice to see something that you put a lot of time and effort into grow. That's literally all it is. And I love making connections with all of you guys. It makes me super happy when anyone comments or likes a video. Like, it just means a lot to me that you took the time out of your day to do either of those things, no matter how quick it was. The next one is probably the most personal one of all of these videos, probably the least book related, but it's related to my platform, so I wanted to share it anyway. And that is to be more open. In 2019, I definitely shared a lot about my mental health, and I'm super glad that I did that. The amount of love and support that I've gotten over like the past year and a half or so, when I started being super open about all of that, has been overwhelming in the best way possible. And I've also had so many of you reach out to me and say thank you for doing that, which to me, like, it didn't seem like I was doing anything. So the fact that people appreciated that, noticed it, and it meant something to them is crazy and so heartwarming for me, genuinely. Like, I have chills right now thinking about it. But in 2020, I definitely closed off a little bit, and I hate that I did that. There's nothing wrong with having boundaries. I think that having boundaries and privacy is super important and necessary. But there were also things that I could have shared, but I was just too scared to do. And again, that's fine. But the reward from sharing that I've gotten from you guys way outweighs like the fear. And so obviously I'm going to have boundaries and everything, but I also I want to share more, and I would love to do like quarterly check-ins with you guys to let you know how I'm doing, and also see how you guys are doing. If you feel comfortable sharing, which totally understand if you don't want to do that. But I don't know, I think it would be helpful for me to see kind of how I'm doing throughout the year, and also maybe hopefully helpful for one of you to know that maybe if I'm feeling really low but I was doing really well and that's super confusing, whatever the case may be, that you're not alone in that. Like, there are highs and lows and it's hard, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth it. So yeah, that's something that I really want to prioritize, and I think would be super beneficial for me. It would hold me accountable for like how I'm feeling and taking ownership of that, and hopefully helpful for you in some capacity. The next thing is kind of two things, and that is I want to maybe go live a couple times this year. I think that that would be really fun. I did it a little bit early last year on my like Bookstagram account, and that was so fun and I loved doing that. But I also really want to do that on here if I can figure it out. So I need to figure that out, but I think it would be really like rewarding. And I also want to host another readathon. I loved hosting my 24-hour readathon last year. It was so fun and so crazy to see everybody that got involved with it. That was absolutely wild to me, but I loved it. It was a little stressful because I didn't know what I was doing, and I still don't know what I'm doing. But like I said, I loved doing it and it was so crazy. So if it's another 24-hour readathon or it's a week-long readathon, whatever the case may be, I think that that would be really fun, and maybe host like more than one. Because it was super cool to interact with all of you guys and see the videos that you posted, the Instagram stories, like that was insane. But also it encouraged me to read, and I think that it encouraged some of you to read as well, which was also just so freaking cool. So I really want to do that again because it was one of my favorite memories of 2020, if I'm being honest with you. And then goal 11 is writing related, and it's kind of personal, but I think it would be fun to do videos about. I want to write more. That's not something that I prioritized at all last year, and I'm very disappointed about that. Not that I am a writer, but writing is definitely a big, like, and super helpful coping mechanism for me. And so I want to prioritize it, whether I'm writing something like a work of fiction or I'm just journaling. I want to do it at least a few times a week, or maybe if like that's too stressful due to school, whatever, then a couple times a month at least, and maybe do like a writing vlog. I think that could be really fun. And I enjoy watching those videos. So yeah, not that anything I write will necessarily ever see the light of day, but yeah, I really want to write more. It's a big, it's a very healthy outlet for me. It helps a lot. And I think that by prioritizing that, I would simultaneously be prioritizing and helping my mental health, which is always super important, especially given the year we all had last year. those are my 11 goals for the year of 2021. It's crazy that we're in the year 2021, but I am super excited about it. I hope that you're all having a good start to the new year. Let me know what some of your goals are in the comments below. I love seeing that, and maybe it'll be added to my already pretty long list of goals for the year. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you're doing well reading, mentally, and otherwise, and I really hope to see you all in my next video. Bye guys!